Hey there, Buffaloes. Welcome to Remote Learning Orientation. This is Mr. Udy, the principal. I probably know most of you. So we are just going to take a chance to kind of run through an overview of remote learning. If you have questions after that, feel free to call the office, or when you come to pick up your packet tomorrow, we can answer those questions and we will be available. So I'm going to go ahead and pop off the screen here so that you can see the whole slide. And so that you don't have to look at me, and then I will pop back up at the end. So here we go. Introductions. Again, I'm Mr. Udy, the principal. Our assistant principal is Mrs. Averett, and our counselor is Mrs. Barron. If you're doing remote learning, you probably heard from one of those two this morning. They just wanted to go ahead and touch base with all of our remote learners and make sure that we're all on the same page. So the first thing I want to address is, what is remote learning? So remote learning is being able to do school at home. That is the same scope and rigor of what we were doing at school. That means if we're doing 4 hours of classwork at school, then we're going to expect 4 hours of classwork at home at the same level and the same difficulty. Because of this, we do expect students to be available from 8 a.m. to 4 p.m. Monday through Friday. Classwork will be assigned on a daily basis and needs to be completed the same day. And families will initially need to expect to come up to school on a weekly basis in order to be able to turn in work and pick up the next week's work. Packet pickup. We'll be doing packet pickup tomorrow, Wednesday, August 12th, and we're doing that from 1 p.m. to 6 p.m. This will allow remote students to start school at the same time as their in-school counterparts. Please come to the front office to pick up your packet, and we will have someone up here that will be able to answer your questions that you might have regarding remote learning as well. Google Classroom. That's the platform that we're running our remote learning through. All assignments will have instructions either with them or instructions on Google Classroom that pertain to Google Classroom. And teachers are filming their lessons while they are teaching them in class, and then they're uploading them to Google Classroom so that remote learners have access to the same high quality teaching that they would get in class. So Google Classroom is a required part of remote learning. How do I log into Google Classroom? Each student will be supplied with a school email address and password. That email address and password will be supplied with the packet that will be picked up tomorrow. That will allow you get into Google Classroom. Your teachers have actually already enrolled you in your remote classes. So as soon as you get in your Google classes, you'll be able to see all of your different subjects. What will my Google Classroom look like? This probably depends on the grade level and the teacher. A kindergarten classroom is going to look much different than a fifth grade classroom, obviously. So the best advice is to make sure that you read your instructions very closely, whether on paper, whether on Google Classroom, and watch all the lessons posted by your teacher. Google Classroom goals. So this is a great paper right here. It's a virtual learning environment is much different than an in-person environment. We will send something very similar to this home with packets. You just want to make sure that you're checking into Google Classroom frequently, seeing what assignments are popping up. You're going to have a chance to communicate with your teacher. You want to make sure, just like school, you get down a routine and that you're organized while you are in Google Classroom. How will I communicate with my teacher? I think that's a big question. Most of that communication, if not all, will come through Google Classroom. Each Google Classroom is set up by subject and allows you to contact individual teachers. Again, we ask that communication be done within the hours of 8 a.m. to 4 p.m. If you did do it later, just know that the teacher will get back with you from the hours of 8 a.m. to 4 p.m. The reason is this is when they're available, and that's why we're asking that students be available from 8 a.m. to 4 p.m. All right, so that is really the overview of how we are running remote learning. I think once you come get your package, you'll have a much better look at that. So again, we will be available at packet pickup to answer any questions. You're